Hey everybody, this is Townsend. I'm a singer, songwriter, musician, and mental health advocate, and I started the You're Not Alone project and podcast to help educate, spread awareness, and simply help you feel a little less alone, no matter what you're going through. Thank you so much for tuning in to Season 2 of You're Not Alone with Townsend. Be sure to click the follow button and share these stories. You can also watch the interviews on our YouTube under Townsendtmusic. You can also keep up with the journey if you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Townsendtmusic. Every like, follow, and share helps us continue to change lives. I am beyond honored to be partnering with Endure the Dirt. If you're from Arkansas, you've probably heard of this event, so go ahead and get your calendars out. This year it's going to be taking place on March 11th. That's a Saturday, so there's no excuse you shouldn't make it. So again, mark that down, March 11th. If you don't know what Endure the Dirt is, it's a 5K mud run that consists of obstacles that are basically to help healthy individuals understand what a cancer patient endures daily. This 5K takes place in Stuttgart, Arkansas at Max Prairie Wings. Now, there are going to be people there to help give you a boost and give you encouragement to conquer each task, just like a cancer patient will have their caregivers, family, and friends. They want you to understand what cancer patients have to endure when they go through rounds and rounds of treatments. The treatments can bring side effects that are incredibly undesirable. They can make you so sick you can't do anything. So why do we pick March? Because of the weather. Cancer patients have to deal with extreme circumstances that are incredibly uncomfortable, and we want you to be uncomfortable, just like they are. We want to take this event and help you understand just a little bit of what they go through with this terrible disease. So the race again is going to be on March 11th, Stuttgart, Arkansas. Hop online. You can go to adventuresignup.com, snag your tickets, let them know that you're coming. Let's help raise money and awareness for cancer patients and treatment. For all details, make sure to go to personalpeprally.org. We'll see you there. What is up, everybody? I'm so excited about this episode of You're Not Alone with Townsend. I, of course, am your host, Townsend. Today, like I said, I'm excited. So I've been following this guy on social media for quite a while. I found him on TikTok, which led me to his Instagram, and it's just so cool seeing what he does and his journey. So his name is Chase. He tries to spread awareness about stuttering and kind of break the stigma around stuttering. And what's really cool is he travels the world, goes out and tries to get people to chit chat with him on the side of the street and just kind of test people's friendliness. And like I said, just try to spread awareness about this, which I adore. I love that so much. And so I was so excited when you agreed to come on and chat with us. I want to learn a little bit more about this. I want to help break the stigma with you. I want my listeners to understand just a little bit more about stuttering. I think it's something we've all heard about as kids. We all know about it, but I want people to hear a little bit more from your journey. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to jump right in. So who the heck is Chase? Where are you from? What got you wanting to share this journey? I can only imagine how tough it is to do so.
Yeah, hello Townsend, and hello people listening.
I,
Yeah,
I also have to interrupt and say, I told him earlier that Chase could read me a book any day. I just need you to call me every day and read me a book to sleep. Like his voice is so relaxing and deep, and he's got this marvelous accent. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just had to let the people know.
that is just so you know, and just so everybody knows, that is the best compliment that you can give somebody who stutters is to compliment them on their voice. It's like it hits home a lot. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I stutter and I help people who stutter as well. But for for everyone listening, I'm not going to talk about stuttering the way a lot of people might assume. I
Mhm.
somebody would. I'm definitely not in a in a victim place. A lot of people talk about it like we need people to talk to treat people who stutter this way and treat people who stutter this way. My approach and what I try to do is give the tools to the people who stutter to learn to connect their self-worth to something that is internal, an internal measurement, something inside of your control, rather than something outside of your control, rather than how somebody responds to your stutter, or if they listen, or if they finish your sentence, or whatever, it doesn't matter. Um, and that's really the approach I took to gain a lot more confidence with speaking and to no longer be held back from it. And what I pride myself on and what I help people with is not learning to become more fluent, is not learning to remove the stutter, but it's about learning to just no longer be held back from it. Meaning no thoughts of yours are getting taken up trying to think, how can I avoid stuttering?
Yeah.
Or what words can I swap that I won't stutter on? um, there's no mental energy getting put to how can I avoid this thing? And when there's no energy put to how can I avoid stuttering, you just stop thinking about it and you can express your true self.
Just enjoy the conversation a little bit more. I can't imagine as much as I think now and saying the perfect thing and not offending anyone, I can't imagine also putting energy into which words do I need to avoid so I don't stutter? What do I need to remember from speech therapy? What I can't imagine all that going through your brain just trying to have a simple conversation. That's so much to think about. I want to personally thank you for taking the time to listen to these conversations. It truly means so much. We've changed so many lives for the better, and we want to continue doing so throughout 2023. This project is made possible by sponsors and patrons. So if you'd like to help keep the You're Not Alone project going and hearing these amazing stories, we would love for you to join the family at patreon.com/TownsendTmusic. Just for signing up, you'll get free merch, discounts, and behind the scenes patron only footage, not only of my music, but of each episode. That's right, so each guest on every episode answers a few more questions that only patrons will be able to watch and listen to. So head on over to patreon.com/TownsendTmusic and let's continue changing lives. You've recently gained a lot of social media attention for being open about your journey with stuttering. When did you first notice that you had a stutter?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because I was in speech therapy up until like I think all of elementary school, but I didn't know why. I didn't know why.
Oh,
I was in there. It was just like once a day I was pulled out of class, and I was like, I guess this is like the cool kids where they gather. And
I'm
I
in the
thought,
club.
yeah, me and one other person get to have this time where we just read out loud to this teacher. It's dope. Um,
Wow.
So I didn't know until like I was 17 or 18, and I was like, "Wait, mom, was that because of my stutter?" And then she's like, "Yeah, I put you in that class because you stutter." And I was like, I had no idea. But I think I became aware that I had a stutter when I was probably around 14 or 15 when I really started to care about it,
Yeah.
when I started to get insecure and compare myself to other people. Like when I was 6, I could stutter. I didn't care.
Yeah.
It didn't disconnect me from anybody. But then when I was 13, 14, 15, it was like, oh, everyone else isn't stuttering. I'm weird to be fluent, and then that struggle to try to be fluent
Yeah.
caused it to be a lot worse.
I wish we could all have the mindset of 6-year-olds. Like,
Right.
they don't care about anything. They don't see color, they don't see differences. I love it so much. Just the mind of a kid. I wish we could all be that innocent. So I can only imagine how tough that got to be when you were 13 or 14. That's a hard age for anyone, especially with what would be the best way to word that? A fluency disorder? A difficulty with
Yeah, the
fluency?
fluency disorder is the most common way to say
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I can't imagine having that at 13 or 14. Like I said, I didn't have that, and 13 was still a really awkward stage. Everybody's trying to be cool, and you don't really know what cool is. So I can't imagine having that on top of it. What do you feel like was your biggest obstacle once you realized, okay, I'm a I'm not the same as my friends. They're not having the same difficulties I am. Like, what was the biggest thing getting over that?
I'll answer that in a second. I wanted to go back to something you said like 28 seconds ago, and it was you can't imagine like going through 13, 14 years old and have and having a stutter. One thing that I learned along this journey is everybody has something.
Oh, yeah.
Like everyone has something that they can put a label on and say, this is why I'm not good enough. Like if it wasn't for this, I would be good. Or if this was gone, or if this was smaller, or if this was bigger, then I would be loved, then I would fit in. And for me, it was my stutter. For people who stutter, it's their stutter. For people who are overweight, it's their weight. For it's we all have something. So we all have something. That's what I want to
Yeah.
add
Oh,
there.
absolutely. I agree with that for sure. I've seen you post a lot about, and I don't know that I'm using the correct word, but there seems to be like a lot of self doubt, a lot of, it's almost like you're your worst critic. And you talk about going out to the
Mm,
woods and just letting go of that judgment that you have on yourself and that weight that you hold on your shoulders. I imagine that's a pretty big obstacle to get over is you judging yourself or holding yourself accountable for all this stuff.
mm. Yeah, so that brings up the biggest obstacle, and it's most probably what you don't expect it to be, but it's the biggest obstacle that I had from learning to become more confident, learning to not care about my stutter and no longer to be held back from it, is actually learning to stop distracting myself.
Okay.
The hardest thing for me was to give up video games because whenever I would have a bad day,
Mhm.
that would be the thing I would always turn to. That was like my reality that I didn't stutter in because we didn't have to talk.
Yeah.
And it was such a safe place to just turn off my brain and feel like I belong here. And I got really good at it. And it was something I was really good at because I didn't have to talk and I could put all my energy in. So I got this sense of I got the sense of belonging.
Mhm.
And since I gained a sense of belonging inside these communities of these games that I was really good at, and it was my safe place, it was so difficult to give that up. But I needed to give it up. And this isn't just with stuttering, but what I've seen with anxiety and all of it is we have these distraction mechanisms we go to when we feel emotions we don't want to feel. And I think the most important thing is to be able to sit with your emotions and not distract yourself. Sit in that silence and feel and learn that hey, these emotions actually aren't bad, and I can handle these. And through that gains a sense of like stillness in the mind where you can go out and your your dopamine isn't spiked because you just played games or you just scrolled social media, and your mind isn't fogged. It's like you're clear and your speech is a lot better. But I was caught in a pattern where I would have a bad speech day, and then I'd be so embarrassed. I turned to games. I felt amazing, but my dopamine got spiked, and I was so not present in like the world, and I got put back in the world, and I was extra anxious, and I stuttered more. So it was like a cycle that was hard to stop, and it took me years to like finally throw the Xbox out, and once I did, it was like it was game over.
Quite literally. Game over.
Oh, wow, I didn't mean that. That was really
That was a really
good.
good wordplay right there. That's
Yeah.
I never thought about that. It's almost like your vice, like something you turn to and you just get addicted to it because it makes you feel a little bit better in that time. I never would have thought about that. That's a really great point. What's something you wish that other people knew about stuttering?
That question is a type of question that a lot of people who stutter, I feel would jump on and say
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I wish they knew how hard it was. I wish they knew this. I wish they knew
Yeah.
that." But I'm really in a place where it's like we all have our own stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like somebody needs to know exactly what I'm going through
Mhm.
in order for me to feel safe, in order for me to be able to be myself. And but if there was one thing that I wish somebody knew, honestly, nothing comes to mind. Honestly,
Yeah?
nothing. Because I I almost pride myself on people not knowing the things that are going on. And I feel like my gift I can give people is a lot more potent when
Yeah.
they don't completely understand everything. And when I'm able to stutter, but not force anything, not try to avoid it, but just freely stutter, not cringe my face, not try to hide, but stay open. When I stutter, I feel like they get to understand that this is a safe environment right now. If this person is accepting himself fully, that most people would have cringed or thought this was embarrassing, but he's staying open, holding eye contact, and he stuttered, and it looked like it didn't phase him at all, then I'm also safe to be myself. But if I feel like I'm in the vibe where I'm like, I need this person to understand that I'm not anxious right now, or I need this person to understand that I know what I need to say, it just takes me longer. If I'm in that mindset, I feel like that kind of dilutes my concreteness I have with myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I've met several people who have a stutter, and I think their biggest complaint is when people try to rush them. The best way that I can describe it, like summarizing what they've told me, is it feels like you're not taking the time to listen to me. Does that feel
Mm.
the same to you? If people try to rush you or cut you off or finish your sentences for you?
Yeah, so what's very interesting about that is with with every new client I take on, we go through a set of questions so I can understand how they relate to their stutter, because like I said, it's not about learning to become more fluent. It's learning about stop being held back from your stutter. In order to stop being held back from it, you must stop resisting it and seeing it as something that's bad. And so something I do with all my clients as soon as they become a client is we go through a list of questions. And it's a question where I start the sentence and they finish the sentence, just to see what's their first thought, what's their beliefs they're holding on to. And one of the questions is, when I stutter, I no longer have permission to have, and then they say the first thing. Very, very often, it's time. When I stutter, I no longer have permission to have time. And when it's time for the stutter, I also reverse it and say, when I speak fluently, I have full permission to have. It's usually time. It's time again. So what's very interesting about that is I feel like when we're in in a stuttering state, when we feel like we're gonna stutter more, we actually shorten the time for ourselves. It's not, I don't feel so much it's like people are rushing us, but we feel a lot more rushed because we're in a more stuttering state, because we're more in a tense state, and we perceive that the people are rushing us a lot more, and we also are a lot more sensitive to if someone is actually rushing us. But when we're in a more fluent state, very rarely do we get upset about about rushing us. Very rarely do we feel like someone's rushing us. So I would say it's kind of twofold there. Is like it's very internal about in it's internally in your control, or it's manifested your time, the time pressure you feel is very manifested depending the emotional state that you're in, being a person who stutters. But also, um it's so nice. One of the nicest things ever is when you're in a stuttering state and you feel like you're stuttering a lot, and the person you're speaking to, you just know that with every stutter and with every block and with every pause, they are not gonna say a word until they know that you're done, and they hold eye contact and they don't flinch when you stutter. Just to feel that, that is like that's so healing. So I would agree with that.
I love that. Yeah, you probably are way more uptight and you're anxious, and there's so much weight being held in that moment. Because I imagine through therapy and as a kid, you try to hide it, like you said. So it's almost, I can
Mm,
imagine as you get older, it becomes a habit to be almost ashamed of it, which is so wild to
mhm.
me because my friends that I have who have a stutter, I don't even notice it, you know? If they weren't to, like you said, almost try to hide it or be super ashamed of it, you wouldn't even notice really. So that is so
Yeah,
sad. I hate that you have to deal with that. But like I said, we all have our things. That just happens to be some people's. But I do hate anything that makes somebody feel more anxious or more left out or anything like that. Now, you've talked about you're really into breathing exercises and just being one with your stutter and just kind of relating to it the best you can. What advice would you have for other people going through the same thing? Now, I want to say also, I think it is amazing that you do classes and you do lessons and you teach all these things that you've learned. I think that's so neat. But in summary, what would be advice for somebody who maybe isn't as confident as you are? Maybe they're embarrassed by their stutter. What would you say to them?
I would say the most important kind of switch that I had, and the most important switch that I have to bring all my clients through is understanding that the stutter itself is not the reason that you're holding back. The stutter isn't the reason why you're not happy. The stutter isn't the reason why you're anxious. The stutter isn't the reason why you're not living and expressing yourself how you actually want to. We often trick ourselves to think that once we are fluent, life will be perfect and we're amazing, simply because when people who stutter are in a more fluent state, they are usually a lot more happy and they feel a lot better. But it's not because the fluency didn't bring that. It's because you are expressing yourself authentically without filtering. And the switch that I need to make is understanding the fluency isn't what makes me happy. It's a byproduct of expressing myself authentically without the filters, and learning to start going on the journey of I need to learn to become more fluent. I'm going into this interaction in order to not stutter. And if I don't stutter, that means I'm growing. Learning to change that mindset to like It doesn't even matter if I stutter. My measure of progress is if I said the words that I wanted to say, and if I faced this fear, I won because that's always in your control. If you show up, that's always in your control. Like I said at the beginning, is we have to learn to dictate our self-worth from internal measures. And once we connect, I took action, I'm growing, and we feel good even if we stutter simply because we took that action, you are building this feel good feeling even though you stuttered. You feel good even though you stuttered. You feel good and you soon realize the stutter isn't the thing that makes you feel good or bad. It's if you showed up or not.
Love that. Yeah, that could go for anything. Just facing that fear. Like show it, like you said, just show up, swing the bat. And eventually it won't be so scary to swing that bat. So you talk about you've mentioned before attending speech therapy as a child and all the things that they teach you. Do you feel like maybe they should make adjustments in speech therapy? Do you feel like this should be something they're teaching rather than maybe trying to teach you strategies to hide your stutter or overcome your stutter?
Yeah. I think that the best way to fully live and express life is not by trying to avoid something,
Yeah.
but it's by accepting all that you are right now. It can change in the future, but accepting, okay, I stutter a little bit right now, accept that in. How can I still express myself fully with this stutter? When you make that the journey, there's like so much self love. There's so much, you don't need to be in your head. You don't have to think, oh, there's something to avoid here. No, just fine. Release it.
Yeah. I love that. Do you feel like the speech therapy strategies that you learned in there? Like I know several of them, like taking a pause or trying to avoid those blocks in your conversation, doing a little something like you're breathing to help get over that word that you're stuck on. Do you feel like those are helpful for some people, or do you feel like that's just kind of a waste of time? And let me phrase that by saying obviously everybody's story is different. So they could be helpful for some, but I'm truly curious for all these people that go to speech therapy and the parents are like, "Fix my kid." Are we doing it wrong? Like, are those strategies helpful at all? Or is it causing more of a problem with self-confidence?
Taking a pause and breathing and slowing down are amazing. And they teach that a lot in speech. They teach that a lot in speech therapy. And I also teach that in my in my coaching. But speech therapy and what I teach have two different intentions, two different end goals. Speech therapy, you're slowing down and taking a pause so that you can speak fluently. And that builds the I'm trying to be fluent more. Stuttering is bad, and this builds the shame with the stutter more. With me, you slow down, you take a pause so that you desensitize yourself to this time pressure. You allow yourself to feel more safe, so you grant yourself more space to be yourself. And with that mindset, flu fluency just comes as a byproduct of being yourself, and it doesn't build the shame with the stuttering as
I
well.
think we could all benefit from taking classes from you. I think that could go for anything in life. Like, just breathe, slow down, and it will be okay. It'll be okay, right? I
Yeah,
love that.
and it's crazy how quickly your brain can get the message that it's okay. Like
Yeah.
even even when I hopped on this call, you said, "How's it going, Chase?" And I think all I said was Townsend, and that was a conscious choice to do that, just to say that one word, slowly, so that my brain got the message. I don't have to rush to
Yeah.
say, "Oh, it's going great. How are you, Townsend?" It's just like at the beginning, Townsend, so that my brain is like, "Whoa, that was slow. It's paused now. It's safe here." And then it just feels a lot. It's just like it's so quick that your brain can get that message.
I love that. Yeah, we could all benefit from that. Absolutely. You recently started a project where you go out in the public with these signs telling people to talk to you that you have a stutter, come talk to me. Man, what have you learned and experienced through this?
Nobody truly cares.
Yeah.
Like, nobody truly cares. It's not like, "Whoa, you stutter? I've never met somebody like you."
Oh
It's
my
just like,
God, look
"Yo,
at this guy.
what an idiot." Yeah. No. No, it's just like, "Oh, cool. How's it going, man?" And then I'll talk, and usually, if I just talk normally, then they're gonna call me out and be like, "Do you even stutter?" And they don't flinch. It's just like
Yeah.
normal. And I love to record that just to show people who stutter that fear is all in your head. That fear of they're gonna judge you and mock you. Like that's some grade 5 stuff. Like
Love it.
they're not gonna all be in a classroom like, "Oh, you're a loser." Like when you grow up and you speak to people, nobody cares.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that so much. What a cool outcome to just be like, I'm just showing you nobody cares. We've all got our own stuff. People are so worried about themselves and what's happening with themselves. They're not worried about you. And yeah, you're your worst critic. And I feel like that's for anybody and anything. Okay. I always ask people this that come on my podcast. And again, you kind of go over this on your pages, but what does self care look like for Chase?
Some intense yoga. I know that sounds relaxed, but like some intense yoga where it's like I face the little voice in my head that says, "Stop, you can't hold this pose for any longer." And I hold that shit for 5 more seconds. And then I break that barrier.
Yeah.
And then after I do that like 3 or 4 times in the yoga session, I take a shower, I come back home, and I would either like do some work or I write or I journal or I meditate or I talk to friends.
Yeah.
I'm just in a much clearer, more grounded state. Um, so it's self-care is usually some type of exercise where I push the limit of what I feel I can do. I break that voice and then I do something. I might go dancing. I've recently been learning ba bachata, and that's fun to dance.
Bachata, that sounds like bread. Bachata bread. I have no idea what is that?
Have
Like
you
the
heard of
salsa?
salsa?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it's like
What?
salsa and bachata are like the 2 common ones here in South America.
Okay. I need you to start posting videos of that. I would love to see you in a salsa dancing class. You should totally do that.
I've posted some.
I've
I
never
guess
seen
you
one. Oh, no, wait.
yeah,
I think I have. You have a partner, they set you up with a partner and you go out. Yeah, no, I have
yeah,
seen those. That's right. Very
yeah,
good. I love that you do that. That is so neat. I wish we had something like that. We don't have very many dance classes, not salsa and things of that nature. Definitely not bachata. But what is
yeah.
it? What
Sound
is it
very
called?
confident saying that. But
Bachata.
I bachata,
Bachata.
Bachata,
Oh, I got
bachata.
it. Bachata.
Not too
Man, I
bad.
sound fluent already. Bachata. Chase, thank you so, so much for joining me. It has been such a pleasure. I know this is a vulnerable topic to talk about, and it's just so cool watching you on your journey, watching you spread just positivity and love. And thank you for that. It's been amazing watching you.
Thank you for your words and for this place to talk, Townsend.
Absolutely. All right, Chase, I hope you have a great evening. I'm not sure what time it is in Argentina. What time is it there?
8:54 p.m.
Oh my goodness, I've kept you up late. I'm so sorry. Well, we
Oh,
will stay.
this
We will.
is not late for Argentina.
Oh, you're a party city.
It's a party city. I'm not a party man.
Yeah, me either. Me either. You can find me a book in bed reading a book, or I'm out gigging. So I do music full time. So I am out super late when I play music. But
Oh, dope.
yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
It was my pleasure. And
appreciate
thank you. Thank you again, Townsend.
Absolutely. Have a good evening, and we'll see you later, Chase.
Ciao.
Okay, guys, if you're in the market to buy or sell, I have the perfect company for you. Clark & Co. Realty is located in the Benton, Bryant, Arkansas area, but they're able to serve you no matter where you're located in the state. They've streamlined the process of buying or selling a home to make it so much easier. They have a team of industry experts that make sure you have access from anything you can think of. I'm talking from local home inspectors to painters to gardeners and so much more, just to provide you with the best service possible. They're dedicated to providing the most up-to-date market data in the area. And I think the coolest part is if you go on their website, you can use their easy-to-use fast property search. You can even create a custom market report to see what's active, under contract, and sold in your neighborhood. Their team is made up of caring, knowledgeable professionals that work around the clock to help you with the process of buying and selling your home. So again, if you're in the market to buy or sell, Clark & Co. Realty is definitely the company for you. Tell them Townsend sent you. Let's be honest. I think we could all use somebody to talk to every now and then. Healing Path Counseling in Conway, Arkansas is 100% my go-to when it comes to therapy. Wendy Blackwood has more credentials than letters in the alphabet. She's won awards for her outstanding services and has a whole page of board memberships. Basically, she knows what she's doing. She works hard to help equip you with the tools needed to live your best life. She even offers a variety of services, including, but not limited to, cognitive behavioral therapy, technology-assisted counseling, relationship counseling, and EMDR. Trust me, I know therapy can be intimidating at first, but let me assure you, Wendy does her best to make you comfortable and find the best solutions and plans for you. Trust me, don't wait to make the call. Give Wendy Blackwood at Healing Path Counseling a call today. Get started on the best version of you. I think we can all agree, getting your hair done should be a treat to yourself. I also know that it's hard to find a stylist that you can trust to give you the style you want every single time. The Madhouse Beauty Lounge has a mission. They want to create a welcoming space for everyone, and they're professionally committed to making you feel confident and beautiful during every single visit. The coolest part is they offer all types of services. I'm talking advanced color treatments to on-trend cuts. My favorite part is that their products are all vegan, and they stay away from products like microplastic, mineral oils, parabens, silicones. In other words, they use the best and the safest ingredients for every client that they have. So I think it's time that you treat yourself to a new do from the Madhouse Beauty Lounge, located at 708 2nd Street in Conway, Arkansas. If you go in, tell them that Townsend sent you. If you're interested in a more holistic approach to mental health, I have the perfect place for you. My friend Raisha Clark is a counselor and neurotherapist located in the Little Rock, Arkansas area. She focuses on holistic body work, so that means treating mental health through brain and body interventions. Their services include psychotherapy, neurofeedback, and lymphatic drainage. So what is neurofeedback? Basically, it encourages the brain to learn more effective ways to self-regulate and ultimately produce more healthful brainwave patterns, which leads to more helpful thinking and behavior patterns. Lymphatic drainage, this is cool. They use the Balancer Pro, which gently compresses your body. It helps drain and flush out swelling, eliminate toxins, lactic acid, and muscle soreness, all of which contribute to cognitive and physiological decline. So if this interests you, be sure to go visit my friend Raisha Clark or visit her website at thecollectivecounseling.com. You won't regret it.